Welcome back to Matt the Groundhopper and episode 4 of Chewing the Fat. And today we're going to look at the size of Kent clubs, ranking them from 1 to 10. Let's take a look. So we've got Tom today, the football tourist. Thanks, Tom, for being on my episode 4 of Chewing the Fat.
Thanks for having me.
So today, look, I watch a lot of Kent football, and I know you do as well,
Yep.
non-league football. So I just thought it'd be quite an interesting little quick debate about who you think, in order of descending order, 1 to 10, who you think are the top 10 biggest football clubs in Kent. Okay.
Well, if you want to watch football in Kent, it's probably got to be non-league, doesn't it? Unless you're
Um,
watching.
yeah. So before we start, let's deal with the elephant in the room, and that is Bromley. Okay, so there's a lot of debate because Bromley are in the Football League now. So are
Mhm.
Bromley a Kent club? Now, I always used to think that they were, because Bromley do have a Kent postcode, a BR postcode. But they do come under the Mayoralty of London. They're part of Transport for London, and also as well, even like the press now, they always state them as being a South London club. So I'm thinking, do you know what? Maybe I'm sort of turning my opinion a little bit. Maybe they are a London club and not a Kent club. So I don't know what your opinions are on Bromley.
Yeah, I was always of the opinion that they were a London club, to be honest. Very South London, but
Yeah,
you got to draw the line
fine.
somewhere.
So I think Motion Carried will class them as a London club. They've been relegated, and it is a relegation from Kent to London, and they are no longer a Kent club. That is official, yeah?
Yeah,
So, okay, so I've created a list, and I understand you've done the same. So we're going to start from the first, right down to 10, of who we think, and I don't know what your list is, you don't know what my list is,
yeah.
who we think is the top club in Kent down to number 10. I'm pretty convinced we're both going to have the first team being the same. Otherwise, we're going to fall out pretty quickly in this video. But I'll start. My number one is obviously the Mighty Gills.
It can't not be.
Can't not be. I mean, obviously Gillingham. I won't go too much about it. Gillingham, consistently the only club in the football league. Maidstone had a couple of years back in the 90s, but Gillingham by far the biggest club in Kent. We had a bit of a bad spell. Was bottom of the football league a couple of seasons ago, and we could have dropped out if it wasn't for the new owners. And
Mhm.
we could have been taken over by other clubs, but now we pulled away again, and the gap's only going to get bigger in my eyes because of the funding and the investment.
Yeah,
So we both agree Gills are. I'm going to make a note of yours, by the way. So we both agree that Gills are number one. Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, no one's even looking like they're challenging to come into the football league in Kent at the moment. So
And I think as well, the more successful Gills become, the more they'll hoover up
yeah,
fans in the location in North Kent as well. And there are a lot of Gills fans based in Canterbury and Ashford and all sorts of places. So yeah, so they're sort of taking the lion's share from other Kent clubs. So we both agree, Gills. Okay, so second, I'll let you go first. So who's your second base biggest team you
so
think?
I think, a little biased in this one, but I would say that Dover Athletic are the second biggest club
Wow.
in
Oh,
Kent. They've got the second biggest stadium after Priestfield,
okay.
and I think if they had like just an average big game, like, well, thanks to the EFL, the last video on my channel was when I went to the Dover Derby when they were playing Folkestone,
Yeah.
and there was like 2,500 there, and I think for any like just league game, even against their bitterest rivals, I don't think any other club in Kent would get a crowd like that.
I'm gonna,
So
I'm gonna, I'm
that's
gonna,
what I'd
okay,
say.
I'm gonna debate that in a minute with you. But
Okay,
you're saying Dover, okay? Fine. My second biggest club is Maidstone.
okay.
Has to be. I mean, I'm surprised you've said Dover. To be fair, I would have said
Me-
Maidstone all day long are bigger than Dover. Purely their catchment area, their size, the ground, the history, the potential,
mm.
current position. Um, so I'm going to go Maidstone. You're saying
Well,
Dover.
they were Dover made the playoffs to be in the football league not that long ago.
Yeah. Okay.
But I've made Son have been there as well, so they're my third place team.
Okay. So you're going to say okay. So number three then is for
If I
you.
may jump that gun,
So you're Maidstone three, yeah.
yeah,
For all what we stated above. I mean, Maidstone. they're just there or there. They don't seem good enough for the National League, but they seem too good for the National League South. They do yo-yo a little bit, but they need to get back up into the National League and establish themselves.
Yeah, I think so as well.
And I don't see why they can't, but they always seem to struggle. They went up, they come down, they go up, they come down. It's quite frustrating, but they can't seem to sustain that level of football. And there's no reason why they shouldn't, because I think looking at other clubs in that league, they should be able to, in my opinion. But so you're saying Maidstone for 3. My third, I'm saying Ebbsfleet.
Okay.
Purely for
Current league position.
current league position, and they've always been up there or thereabouts. They always seem to be a bit like Maidstone, the National League South, National League. They just seem to be up there consistently for the last 20, 25 years, and then sort of top 2 non-league leagues, effectively. So okay, so I'm going to go. What I'll do on this as I'm going, I'll put on the screen the list as well as we're going.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, on the video. But okay, so I'm going Ebbsfleet. So who are you going to go for number 4? So you've done Gills, Dover, Maidstone. Who are you going for number 4?
Funnily enough, Ebbsfleet United.
Okay, Ebbsfleet. Okay, for reasons we just said.
I thought the top 4 kind of picked themselves. It was just a question of which order. I think with the Ebbsfleet, they seem to be, obviously they've attracted, like recently Chris Solly's played there and Jordan Ibe, Ibe definitely played for Liverpool not that long ago. But they just don't seem to quite have the fan base. Like, I don't know. Like I commute when I go to games on a match day through London, and sometimes I get the train that stops at Ebbsfleet, and it's always just full of people going to West Ham. So I think if West Ham or probably the North London clubs or Chelsea were playing at home, I think they'd all, like most of the people in that area, would go there rather than to Ebbsfleet. And I've been there twice, and both times like the stadium wasn't that full, even when they were playing Fleetwood in the FA Cup. Whereas obviously I went to a sold out Maidstone when they beat Stevenage last season. So Maidstone are definitely a bigger club than Ebbsfleet for me. But they do have like probably my favourite catering of any club in Kent. Their little German sausage area is brilliant. I love that.
Yeah, and can we include food into it as well? Maybe.
It's a factor for sure.
Yeah, it's part of the day out. I mean, for me, I preferred it when I called Grays in the Northfleet. Don't like the name Ebbsfleet. I know they're trying to create. It was all around the train station, which they no longer stop at since COVID. So the Ebbsfleet train station, the international station, is sitting there empty. They go through it for the Eurostar, but they were trying to cash in on the whole Ebbsfleet tourists from Europe coming to watch games. But I did read they're looking to get a new ground, aren't they? They're building a new ground behind the current one, apparently.
Okay.
Industrial estate. Yeah, where they are, there's an industrial estate behind, and I did read they're putting a new stadium behind the current one on the industrial estate, because apparently the owners own that part of the land as well. But obviously, if anyone's watching this, do comment. But that's what I read. So they're looking.
I thought that they'd only recently done up the main stand. It looks quite modern when I was there.
Yeah, because when I watched Ebbsfleet last season before last, I was talking to some local fans, and I said the same thing. This is a brand new stand, but apparently now they've got bigger plans. They want a new stadium. So okay, so that's your number 4. Mine up there, curveball. You're probably going to disagree with me, but maybe a little bit biased. But I'm going to go for Chatham Town for 4.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is I know they've been languishing for many years in the lower Kent leagues or the Southern Counties League, but it was unlucky in the final not to go up. They lost on the day to Enfield. They would have been National League South now.
Yeah.
They are consistently getting crowds of 1,500 plus. And you mentioned the Dovers 2,500. Well, I mean Chatham were getting close to 3,000, and they got 3,000 for the.
For that factor, they're up there.
It was a complete sellout. They would have got more if it wasn't for the size of the ground. There is rumours they are going to improve the ground. There's the stand opposite the main stand where
I think that needs to happen for me before they're sort of up there.
Yeah, there's discussions with the local council. I know they lead with the council through previous work, and I spoke to him recently about it. And they are looking to possibly do something with the stand. It would have been brought forward if they would have been promoted. I don't know about now because they didn't go up. But so I'm saying Chatham. I know it'll be debatable because they haven't been anywhere for a while. But for crowd size and catchment area and potential, I think they could be bigger than all the other clubs.
But we're talking about right here, right now, Matt. Although they do, your thing about the crowds is true,
Yeah, they.
and I think their facilities are really nice as well. Like all the bars they have around the ground,
Yeah,
it's better than a lot of non-league grounds that you go to.
if they're focused to get promoted this year, they spent a lot of money. They are the big spenders in that division by far.
Mm.
But obviously, it doesn't mean you're getting promoted. But if they do go up, I can see them doing very well in National League South as well. So, yeah. So there we go. Chatham Town is my number 4.
Okay.
So, okay. I'll go number 5 for me, Tunbridge.
Snap.
Yeah. So you got Tunbridge as well, yeah? Okay.
Yep.
I mean, it seems a bit weird that Tunbridge are an established National League South club and they are higher up in the pyramid than Chatham. But again, we look at the crowds.
I think they average about just over 1,000 each
Yeah,
game.
just over 1,000. I mean, they could do more because there's not a lot else around Tunbridge regarding catchment. I mean, they've got Tunbridge Wells, but they're much lower down the pyramid. But they could do more. The actual stadium, Longmead, is on a really large plot, so they could have a really big ground because they've got lots of space around the ground. But whether there's money to build the stadium up, I don't know. But
I mean,
again,
they're fan owned, aren't they, as well? So that potentially is what's getting in the way a little bit. But I think being a consistent National League South side is not a bad thing. We've
yeah,
mentioned some of the just before we started, some of the massive clubs that have been in that league and that are in that league at the moment. So it's definitely not a bad thing, and it's such a hard league to get out of as well. So sort of staying up there, having some of those adventures, it's not a bad thing in my opinion at all.
yeah, and you feel like they're building on something because they struggled the first couple of years, but they're doing quite well now. It's like a momentum thing for Tunbridge. They seem to be getting better and better every season. I don't think they made the playoffs yet, but they could challenge for the playoffs this year. But anyway, so they're my and yours number 5, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your number 6?
Chatham.
Okay, so Chatham's number 6. So you think?
But if like you have mentioned though, if they do improve that stadium, maybe make it a 5,000 seater ish sort of ground at some point, that could catapult them to
Yeah,
probably above Ebbsfleet for me. Just because
yeah,
of the fan base is there.
yeah. What you get a lot of, Tom, is like when I was at the Chatham playoff final, there are a lot of Gills fans there. I mean, it's like almost like Chatham's like Gillingham light a little bit. There are a lot of Gills fans who go. So when Gills are away, Chatham at home, they will go to Chatham at home. So there's not particularly rivalry between Gillingham and Chatham. I think they just supporters will be Gillingham fans like me, but I also follow Chatham and I want to see them do well. So that's why I think they get big crowds. And I think if they go up again and they got the bigger stadium, better. I think their crowds will. It's only Dulwich Hamlet get bigger crowds than Chatham. They're right up there with their crowds. But you're saying they're 6th. My 6th place is Dover.
Okay.
Okay, so they're below Tunbridge. Dover have been big beasts in the past, and they were close to getting into the Football League a couple of times 20 years ago, but they're on a downward trajectory for me.
Massively.
Yeah, and they've got a nice little ground. I've been there. I know you've been there, and I've been there myself, and it's a mix of new and old. They've got the new sort of newish stand, main stand.
I wouldn't recommend sitting there, by the way. They've got that like perspex plastic thing. You can't see through it. It's terrible.
Is it what?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when I was at Dover, because it's nice you can walk around. I stood behind both goals, and I sat in the little temporary stand opposite. Well, it's temporary, permanent stand opposite. I sat there as well. But yeah, Dover's a nice day out. It's up that very steep hill.
Mm-hmm.
Quite fit to get out there, but Dover's a nice day. So they're my number 6. So what's your number 7?
Ramsgate for me.
Okay. Well, my number 7 is Dartford.
Okay.
So what makes Ramsgate bigger than Dartford then, in your eyes?
Well, it's been a bit of a mess behind the scenes this season, but I think they've sorted it out now, and they should be motoring and finally win the league this season.
Yeah.
But the fan base for me is there. I think the football's there, and I think with the catchment area as well, they've done far better than even a team that hasn't even made my top 10. They're in the they have, but they're in the same area. They've played in the higher league, but they just haven't just sort of stagnated. Whereas I think Ramsgate are really they've got momentum behind them as well, albeit they haven't got that promotion. There's a lot of well, until like the manager left, and then the manager after him left, and then the first manager came back. Before that, there was a really good feeling about them, even though they lost that playoff final.
Wasn't Steve Lovell manager for a while? Ramsgate, wasn't he? Got the sack, didn't he? And they were top of the league, weren't they? Was it Ramsgate? He was manager.
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, I think Steve Lovell was
Ben Smith, I'm talking about.
And they were, yeah. But and then, the other manager's left. Yeah, the manager from last season's gone, hasn't he? They've got new management structure, don't they? Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I think for me, they're just like a quite a positive. Like it's a good place to go and watch football, in my opinion.
Yep.
I really like it. I've not been to Dartford to watch Dartford. I went there to watch London City Lionesses. When I like the stadium, so maybe I'd have a different opinion if I went there for that. But for me, they're just sort of. I mean, they're the next on my list if that's any consolation. But they're
Okay, so Dartford are my number 7, and they got a really, really tidy, nice little stadium. Very, very. I mean, they've been in the National League a few times, fallen on harder times. I mean, they got relegated last season. This is the lowest level they've been for many years.
same league as Chatham.
Dartford are always. I said in my video when I went to Dartford when they got relegated, always competing in National League South in the playoffs. Lost the final couple of times, and they end up getting relegated. And it's like unbelievable. So I think Dartford for me, crowd wise, I don't just over 1,000.
That's what's done it for me.
Yeah. It's maybe it's because where they are on the outskirts of London. It's a lot of people's second team, possibly. So Dartford, nice little setup, but I've got them in at 7. My number 8 is Ramsgate.
Okay.
So
you've just got them.
I think Ramsgate potentially are a little bit of a mini sleeping giant. Thanet is, if you're a fan of a Thanet team, they don't tend to be fans of any other club because they're so far down in Kent. I think Ramsgate. I really like the stadium, Ramsgate. I just had a nice feel about Ramsgate, and they're just waiting to do something, and they've been unlucky the last couple of years, and they need to get up out of that league and get into the Premier League of Isthmian Premier.
Once they do that, I think all bars are off what they can do. But as long as they're stuck in this league, and I don't know who will be, because I mean, Cray Valley had an absolute tear last season, so I'm not sure who it could be that will stop them going up this year. So I'm really hoping it's no one, to be honest. It's quite nice to have Isthmian Premier football back in Thanet. Yeah.
I think when Ramsgate lost the title to Cray Valley Paper Mills, as soon as I see it, I thought they would lose the playoffs, and they did. That's the first game. I just can't believe it. It's because it was such a deflation for them. Yeah, we spoke before. The non-league pyramid system is brutal. Trying to get up through it's so hard. You have to win the league or win the playoffs. It's so hard. It's easy to get relegated because there's normally 4 come down, but they go up, or especially Isthmian, they've got 3 divisions into 1. It's very, very hard. But like you, I think once they go up into the Premier League, I think they'll do well. They just got to get out of this league, this South Eastern League. It's very, very hard. But yeah, okay.
And who knows what will happen with the crowds after that?
Sorry?
And who knows what will happen with the crowds after that? Exactly. They could explode.
Yeah. So that's 9 number. So what's your number 8, Tom, after Ramsgate on your list?
So I had Dartford.
Dartford number 8, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
So they basically so we flip-flopped on theirs. Mine Dartford 7, okay. So we're flip-flop. Okay.
I mean, like you said, they're league position-wise, they're pretty good, but I think for size of club, you need more than that to sort of be higher up the list, and they're just. Like you said, I don't know how many diehard Dartford fans there are out there. I'm sorry if I upset any on the video.
I did put Dartford above Ramsgate, but for potential, if we've done this 2 years' time, I think Ramsgate would be above Dartford on my list because I think Ramsgate could be much higher than Dartford. They're just a sleeping giant, aren't they, Ramsgate? I think they are.
And they could really, I think, that's hoover up all the best players in that.
Yeah.
That's my number 9. A large area. They all like football. They're just all the clubs are, quite low down.
Okay. Well, my number 9 is Margate.
Same.
I always thought Margate were bigger than Ramsgate until I went down and see both teams last season at about 2 or 3 weeks apart. And I know Margate, they had a lot of transition, Margate, and their ground's looking very run down. And they are renovating their ground.
Can't come soon enough.
They're having a hotel built next to the ground, and part of the development they're having the stadium completely redeveloped. So Hartsdown Park. So they're going to It's going to be completely different within a couple of years. But at the moment, it's looking very sort of run down. It's just old stands. It just needs investment, but that investment's coming. And I always thought Margate were bigger than Ramsgate, but I've changed my mind. I think Ramsgate were a bigger club. So, and obviously you think the same.
Yeah, just because they've been in the higher league for so long. But I mean, I went there admittedly on a rainy day, but everyone was miserable. The stadium has to be one of the worst in that league as well. I mean, obviously, like you say, they're finally doing it up. But when you compare it to like Dulwich Hamlet or Hastings or even Chatham or Horsham, grounds like that, it's Lewis. You'd rather go to any of those than to Hartsdown Park.
It just needs a cut of decent stands with some decent facilities because then other stadiums you mentioned, even Chatham, they've got really good bar areas and sort of food outlets where it's not just a burger van dumped or a caravan dump selling burgers in the corner. It's a bit more infrastructure, isn't there? But
yeah.
Okay, so you're number 9. You're number 9 Dart Margate as well.
Yeah.
So you're Margate as well for number 9. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I say I will put a list up on the screen so people can see. And what's your number 10?
I've gone for Folkestone.
Yeah. Yes, he's like same as me. Because after Folkestone, you look at people like Sheppey and 7-8. So I've gone Folkestone.
Yeah, so at first I wasn't sure how low the list was going to go, so I started looking at attendances, like who gets more, Sheppey or Herne Bay, and then I thought the cut-off is actually just perfect, so I don't need to do any of that stuff.
That's a good research, yeah. I think Folkestone are. I don't know much about Folkestone. I'm hoping to go to Folkestone. I think you're going to go to the same game, is that right? In November when they're playing Dover at home.
Yeah.
I've not been to Folkestone's ground before, so the last ground of Kent I haven't been to of a certain level. So I'm looking forward to going to this. I don't know much about Folkestone, but I know they've been in that level, that sort of Isthmian Premier Division. They've been in there for quite a long time. They're just there, aren't they, all the time? They don't seem to do well. They don't seem to do, but they're just always there and they're just hovering mid-table. But have you been to Folkestone yourself?
Yeah, I have, and I had the best burger I've ever had at the football at Folkestone. But they've since sacked the caterers, so I don't know what it's going to be like anymore.
Why are they sack caterers if the burgers are so good?
I don't know. Do you know the Twitter account Footy Scran? There was they put a post about it. That's how I found out, and there was just comments and comments of why would they do this? Oh my god!
Yeah,
just like crying out, just outcry about that decision.
Well, when I go down there for that game on Tuesday night, I will head straight over to the food outlet and give it a bit of a rate and see what the food's like.
But when I went, there was a massive queue as well for that exact reason because it was delicious. But yeah, the ground it's like a standard non-league ground. It's mostly terracing with one seated stand. It's quite big though. It's decent.
Yeah. Is there room to expand it?
I'm not too sure. I think it's got like lots of shops and stuff around it, so possibly not too much.
Yeah,
but it's but yeah, like you say, they're just always in that league. They're never really pushing for the playoffs.
No,
I think last season, even though they finished quite low down, they like points wise, they were nowhere near getting relegated either.
Yeah,
so I think they always just do enough, don't they? But so I guess that's why the ambition's not quite there. So that's hence why we picked 2 teams that are below them in the pyramid at the moment.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, I enjoyed my time there. It was quite recently. It wasn't until I think it was last season sometime that they had the longest running manager in English football. He'd been there for like 26 years. So maybe that was a bit of why they'd been so stagnant for so long as well. So who knows?
Was it Cugley? Was it Neil Cugley?
Yeah.
Neil Cugley. Yeah. So okay, well that's the list complete. For me, the biggest curveball you put in Dover second.
I'm a bit biased. It's my favourite ground to go to in Kent. When it's going well.
So you've got Gillingham, Dover, Maidstone, Ebbsfleet, Tunbridge, Chatham, Ramsgate, Dartford, Margate, and Folkestone. And I've got Gillingham, Maidstone, Ebbsfleet, Chatham, Tunbridge, Dover, Dartford, Ramsgate, Margate, Folkestone. So the bottom end is quite similar. It's just this Dover Athletic. I've got a problem with this Dover Athletic.
Yeah, I've probably put Chatham too low for your liking as well, haven't I?
Again, I suppose a little bit biased from me with Chatham. For me, just going back to Chatham, I just think that they've done nothing for years, and they're just a sleeping giant. I think they could be quite big. I think they could be National League. I really believe that. But it's such a blow then not to go up last season. I know it would have been 3 promotions on the trot.
Mm.
To lose the final was like it was, and they played really badly on the day. I was there, they lost to Enfield, and it just wasn't expected. Everyone was expecting to get promoted,
Yeah.
and it was just such a blow. And they got to go again this season. They didn't had the best of starts, but
No, I was about to say.
there's only 3 games in. But I think they'll come good again. They've done some good signing. So yeah, Chatham. I don't think. I think for me personally, I think the top Gills. For me personally, I think Gillingham Mason will always be 1 and 2. I don't think they'll ever be overtaken. And then it's all about who's vying for 3rd space.
Mm.
Whether it be Ebbsfleet or Maidstone, Ebbsfleet or Chatham or Tunbridge, or Ramsgate maybe one day. But yeah, okay, interesting. Well, let me know what you think if you're reading this. So if you're looking at this in the comments, do you agree with me or Tom?
Well, I think I'm going to get roasted in the comments. I'm thinking about it now.
But interesting debate. I don't think I've ever seen a video like this before, so it might be interesting to get some comments on. Do get a lot of Kent fans watching the videos and get a lot of comments on when I do non-league grounds in Kent. So there's
not much coverage really outside of people talking about Gillingham, is there? So
exactly. So brilliant. Well, thanks, Tom, and thanks for being in my episode 4, Chewing the Fat.
Thanks for having me.
And and we'll see you again at a future episode.
Lovely.
Lovely. See you again. Many thanks, and bye for now.
Bye.
And there you have it. That is my top 10 Kent clubs and Tom's as well. Let us know what you think in the comments section, whether you agree or disagree. If you haven't had a chance, hit that subscribe button. Also, drop us a like as well. All really, really helps the channel, and I really do appreciate all the support I get trying to build the channel. Make sure you check out my ground hopping videos as well. And back to this video. Dover, 2nd biggest club in Kent. Don't know, Tom, I'm not too sure about that. Thanks anyway, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.